the A-hole, where we are the judges of this subreddit. And in this video, I'm also too lazy to have a start screen. This story is by unsupervised trash. Would I be the A-hole if I asked my girlfriend to change her wardrobe? I'm 25 and my girlfriend is 22. We have different jobs. I'm a professor and she's an amazing artist and graphic designer. It's honestly a great relationship. We communicate openly, rarely fight, and always have a cuddle time, etc. We've been together for 2 years. Before anyone asks, no, she was not my student. Well, that's okay. I was in grad school and her about to graduate at a different university. We met through a mutual friend. It's okay. My problem is her wardrobe consists of solely hoodies and jumpers or crop tops, but mostly the former. When I take her out on fancy dinners that we both get excited for, I'm all dressed up and she wears a jumper and tights. I had an academic conference/seminar that she wanted to attend, and she showed up in a hoodie while everyone else, including me, wore formal slacks and button-downs at least. She got mistaken as my student. She doesn't own more than one formal shirt, and I don't think I've ever seen her wear it. One morning, I asked as nicely as I could if she could wear a turtleneck uh, instead of her knit jumper for a fancy dinner with my siblings. She said she'll think about it, but didn't. During a get-together with my friends at another fancy place, we wore button-downs, and she wore another hoodie. I felt embarrassed to sit beside her, who looked like a kid in the midst of working adults. It's not like I never wear more casual clothes. I just think I wear them when it's appropriate, and not for events which I feel deserve a little formality. It's driving me insane because I don't think it should be this big a deal. They're just clothes. But I can't help but be disappointed when she shows up like that to dates I saved up for. It's a bit aggravating, and I feel miserable that she doesn't think to dress up for me, the formality of it is disrespected. It's not like I'm going to ask her to wear anything uncomfortable for her, or for her to change her style completely and throw away all her old clothes. I'm not going to ask her to always wear formal clothes either, but I really wish she could read the atmosphere and dress accordingly. Too long didn't read. Girlfriend only wears hoodies and jumpers, even to formal events. Would I be the a-hole if I told her to stop and change her wardrobe? I don't think you should. I know this isn't relationship advice, but I feel like you shouldn't ask her to change her wardrobe, more like just add formal clothes and just hope she wears formal stuff to formal events. Explain to her that how upset it makes you. Our next post is by HorrorFault4. Am I the a-hole for reminding my sister I'm not her mother and it's not my job to financially support her? Okay then. My parents were both struggling when they had me, a 28-year-old female, and my sister, a 25-year-old female. Wait, what? Okay then, both worked jobs that didn't pay the bills, but they still had the two of us, and our childhood was rough because of it. It was more than just no fancy things. Sometimes it was skipping meals or not having water. Wait, what? Not having heat, etc. We bounced around place to place. There were times we slept on the floor in the living room. Other times, Dad was in the car while my mom, sister, and I were somewhere else. When I was 13, I started picking up odd jobs to earn some extra money. When I was 14, I got a part-time job. When I was 16, I started working a lot, and my parents started expecting me to pay for stuff. Food, bills, stuff for my sister, and for the 2 years I lived there, it was on me. My parents still worked, but they relied heavily on me, and when I moved out, they expected me to continue supporting everyone. What? But I refused. My sister would still ask me herself, and I would make sure she had essentials, but never went out of my way to support her. When she turned 16, I told her she could work part-time and help pay for stuff herself like I did. Except she didn't, and when she was 17, she went to live with a guy and had a kid with him. They broke up. She had another kid 18 months later. Now that she got 4 kids and she can't afford them, no dad in the picture, no effort on her behalf to get her stuff together, I suggested an apprenticeship from her that came up at my husband's job. It's a tech job that pays good with good benefits, and she turned it down. So I always saw that I've done enough, but I wasn't going to take on her family. She's asked for money more than once, and I've always said no. The last time, she asked if I wanted to put an end to it. I told her to stop asking. She said we're family, and family helps each other. I reminded her that I'm her sister, not her mother, and it's not my job to financially support her or her family. I did more than enough when it never should have been on me. I have my own family now, and it's my job to support me and to get her act together. She blew up and told me I'm being unfair to not just her, but her kids. I guess it's her kids that make me question if she's right. Am I the a-hole? No, her kids does not make it right. It literally does not matter. If you can't expect other people's money. It's just, yeah. And plus, I mean, to be fair, it's not really your fault, OP, that she has money problems. I'm not saying. Okay, I don't really know a lot of information here, so I don't like to assume. But yeah, from what I've read so far, it's you're not the a-hole. Um, I'm just wondering why your parents expect you to still pay after you move out, though. That's questionable. Oh, it kind of sounds like entitled parents. Our next post is by Jetty Master. Am I the a-hole for not giving my mom my bank account login? No, OP, you're not the a-hole. If the story is exactly what I think it is. Today, my mom, a 43-year-old female, got into a huge fight with me because I, a 19-year-old female, didn't want to give her my bank account login info. Background information. When I was 13, my mom decided to open a teen checking account, which was closely monitored by her. I never really used it until I started working a few years ago. Ever since I started working, all the money I've made was transferred from my teen account to my parents' account. Hold up. I wasn't really allowed to spend anything from my paychecks. Back then, I didn't really mind because I was happy to support my parents financially. When I turned 18, I told my mom I wanted to be removed from the teen account and I would make my own checking account. My mom said I couldn't make a checking account and I had to stay on the teen account. She said the only reason why I wanted a separate account was to hide my expenses. It wasn't until a few months ago I made my own checking account without my mom knowing. Along with the checking account, I've made a savings account. The saving account would automatically transfer a couple dollars from my teen account whenever there was enough money. My mom constantly monitors my teen account and manages my money. I'm not allowed to spend anything without her approval. Wait, aren't you 19? I work on the weekends, which I earn $1,550 a month. I had my driver's license for a while, but I didn't have enough money in savings to buy a used car. So I was constantly relying on my parents to take me to work or use their car, which was a struggle. It wasn't until a couple months ago my mom co-signed a car for me, so I paid about $500 for my car monthly. Before I got a new car, my parents were taking my whole paycheck. That's not good. My parents always guilt trip me into supporting them financially. It wouldn't have been an issue if they would allow me to put some of my money into a savings, which they don't. They make a good amount of money, so I wasn't able to receive financial aid for my university. They also don't help me pay for college. Bro, that's so I'm stuck with loans. I once expressed that I wanted to save a couple $100s from my paycheck to help with my college tuition, which turned into a big argument. What? Why? So I decided to not bring that subject up again. But today, my mom was checking my teen account and saw some money being transferred into a savings account. She confronted me about it, and I told her that a couple dollars were being transferred into my savings account. So my mom asked for my bank login and told me to cancel the savings account. I told her that I wasn't going to give her my bank login, which turned into a big argument. My mom called me all sorts of bad names and threatened to break my laptop and iPad, which she knows I use for school. Also, my mom threatened to kick me out and said I wouldn't be able to support myself and would become homeless. I don't like disappointing my parents, but am I the a-hole? No. What the? Bro, what's with parents taking their kids' paycheck? I honestly don't understand that. And your parents make good money. It's not like they really need it. It's just, I guess, makes it a bit easier by like $1,000 since you do pay for your car monthly. But still, why do parents do this? I honestly don't understand. Uh, yeah, but still, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole here. I understand why you wouldn't want to give it, and I'm pretty sure it's something. I forgot the word. I think it's financial abuse or something. Yeah, your parents are pretty toxic, but hey, I don't know. I honestly, uh, your parents are being the a-hole, or actually just your mom, since you didn't really talk about your dad or your other parents. Our next post is by Throw Photo. Am I the a-hole for charging to take photos of the bride? Unless you promised that it'd be free, no, you're not. But I don't like assuming. So, on to the posts. I'm a photographer. One of my family members had sent me a couple that was looking for a wedding photographer. From the get go, this couple was being very frugal with their money. Since I had sympathy, I cut my prices to help lower that burden. From the get go, they tried cutting every corner to get the most out of me. They wanted to dress their kids up and bring them to their engagement shoot so they could sneak in some family photos. Not cool, I didn't allow it. They booked me for 3 hours of their wedding, and I knew this was going to pose a problem. But three was all they can afford, and apparently all they needed. Leading up to the wedding, I knew that we didn't have any time to spare when it came to the photos. I asked the bride for the itinerary for the wedding, and also all must-have photos with examples for her to use. The day before the wedding, she says there isn't a schedule and we will wing it. And the shot list definitely showed that someone did it last minute. Wedding day comes and everything is an unorganized disaster. There were very few moments where the bride and the groom could actually be taken away. The wedding was 5 on a Friday and I was booked from 5 to 8. While I'm capturing all the important shots on the list, try I'm trying to grab solo pics with the bride and groom so that they don't make time for me. Something was always coming up to where when we were ready to go outside, they would tell me to wait. I even pushed my time to 8:30 because I knew there would be some regret later. So I told them I'm leaving and I just need a photo of them too. The groom comes out yelling because I've taken him away from the party to take stupid pictures. And honestly, the behavior was also grotesque. I took the picture and left. A few weeks passes and I get a text from the bride at 11 p.m. Oh my god, I was having so much fun that I realized we didn't take any solo shots of myself. And she didn't, because she wouldn't make time to take them, because she wouldn't give me a schedule that we could actually work with. So now the bride is requesting I do a greatly discounted or free bridal shoot for her since I didn't get any solo shots in the wedding. Am I the a-hole for charging for these photos? Too long didn't read. The bride would not make time for a wedding for me to take solo shots of her, is now requesting a bridal shoot for a big discount or free. Am I the a-hole for charging for the shoot? No. Services have costs, and your poor time management does not mean it's someone else's problem. Therefore, OP, you're not the a-hole.